Hi guys, you're welcome to Yvonne Winnie Freyuji, and to make this beautiful skirt today we are using these two pieces. This one is the front and it is going to be on fold like this. Yes, simply like that. And even the back is going to be on fold. Opening it up, guys, it looks like this, but it will be on fold as we are cutting like this. The back has a zipper allowance at the center back there. It is just 1 inch, and I'm putting the front on top so that I cut everything together. So the center front is where we're going to take all the measurements, not the center back, which has the zipper allowance. So guys, remember we have fringes down here. Fringes that word, you know it. So it will be like this, as you see. So you can choose any length of your fringes, and also at the top we will have a waistband, so you have to consider those two lengths so that you know the size of this middle part that you need. So for the width, guys, I just considered the hip measurement divided by 4, and whatever I got, I added 1 inch sewing allowance and about 3 inches for the A-line part of the skirt. So now, guys, I'm going to remember we have to add a waistband at the top. It will be 1.5 inches. So I'm drawing a line here to mark as the starting line, and at the top there is 1/2 inch as the joining allowance of the skirt to the waistband. So I'm starting my tape at the 1.5 inches along the top part. Then from the top I'm going down at the 8-inch mark to mark the hip line. Then the rest is the length of this part of the skirt. I have about 18 inches here with the sewing allowances inclusive, but depending on which length you need, do you. So at the top here, I'm marking 1/4 of the waist measurement, and I just added 1 inch as the sewing allowance. Then even along the hip line, I'm marking 1/4 of the hip measurement plus 1 inch. So I'm marking at 11.5. The hip measurement I'm working with is 42 divided by 4. I get 10.5. So guys, whatever I have at the hip line, I'm just going to add 2 inches, but you can add 3 or 4 or 5. Me, I just want a simple kind of A-line, but depending on which A-line kind or type you need, please add as more inches as you can. Sometimes you can start with the least can be 3 inches, but because I was just managing my fabric, I worked with only 2 inches. And at the top here, the side, as you've seen, I've gone ahead up by 1/2 inch and then connected back into the hemline of the skirt, and that will be also cut off. So after that, I'm connecting these points. Sometimes you can just connect from the waistline to the hemline of the skirt, but because I added only 2 inches for the L-line shape, I decided to connect each point to each point, and this is the shape that I came up with. And now I can just cut out the unwanted parts, and that is what I have now. And also even along the hemline, let me cut off to eliminate that pointy part of the A-line. So I have front and back. I can even label them like this, front and back, for easy identification as I'm sewing. And I'm going to separate the back into 2 parts, not dividing, but separating along the center back like this, as you're seeing. And I have 2 parts of the back, and I have 1 for the front. Guys, if you're using lining at this point, please consider them, but since I just wanted to not to use lining for this skirt, it is simple. Good thing it is a cotton Ankara fabric. Then I'm slanting the center front by 1/2 inch from the top, then connect to the sides, then cut that off, to shape the waistline very well. So this is what I have, and I can now prepare my 2 pieces for sewing. So I'm bringing the back pieces on top of the front pieces, right sides facing each other, guys, right sides facing each other, and I'm going to sew by 1 inch that we left as the sewing allowance on either sides. And also for the center back, I'll leave about 7 inches, 7.5 inches for the zipper, then sew up the rest of the part or the rest of the center back going down. After the sewing, guys, this is what I have. I've already joined the sides and I left the zipper allowance on top here. Now let's flip it to the right side so that you see what we have so far, the shape of the skirt so far. So I think you're seeing that A-line shape. It's not all that much, but that is what I needed, and that can work for what I wanted. So now, guys, I have the waistband. This is it. It is 4 inches in width, and on fold it's going to be 2 inches. The length is the entire waist measurement plus some allowance. So when I start sewing, I'll be sewing by 1/2 inch to join the waistband to the skirt, and I'll sew all along up to the other side of the back, then cut off the excess. And at that point, the waistband will now be 1.5 inches because we will be sewing by 1/2 inch, then attach the zipper. And then we will start working on the fringes. Guys, don't miss that part. It's going to be great. So yeah, after attaching the waistband and the zipper, this is what we have. This is what we have. So you can go ahead also to overlock your skirt, but since I was using a zigzag scissor, there is no need because I'm not worried of the fraying. The skirt is just ready to go because I used the zigzag scissors. So now, guys, around the bottom we'll just be using 1/2 inch. So that's why I told you please go on an overlock. Then for the part of the fringes, guys, cut as many pieces as you need according to your length and your width. So for me, the length I have here is about 8 inches plus the sewing allowances. Then the width, I have some pieces that are 4 inches, some are 3 inches, some are 2.5 inches. I don't know even what I was doing, but mainly consider about 2.5 inches and above for easy sewing. So I'll be closing one part of the length and the side, and then leave one part of the length open so that I can flip my pieces onto the right side. Hope you understand that. So consider one end closed, one end open. So now let me show you to flip these pieces. These ones are finished. I'm just pushing them to the right side like this. I have another easy way that I'm going to be showing you later in this video, so please, yeah, don't rush. You're going to be seeing. So suppose this is the already flipped fringe. I just want to show you how we will be joining for now. So you will have overlocked your skirt or hemmed your skirt. If you used lining, maybe you sandwich the fringe between the lining and the main skirt. So suppose you finished the entire hemline. I'll just be folding in by 1/2 inch. Remember, I used zigzag scissors, so it is ready to go. Then I'll be top stitching. I'll be putting the fringe under the maybe front or the back part of the skirt like this, just using half an inch off the fringe, 1/2 inch off the hemline of the skirt like this. And I'll be considering the open end of the fringe. the closed end of the fringe will be down, then the up will have the open end of the fringe. Then I'll be leaving like half an inch or 1 inch from each fringe, then I'll be top stitching all around. So guys, these are all now my finished pieces of the fringes. So now I need to flip them to the right side. I've finished, sewing them, folding and sewing them. So to turn them to the right side, this is what I'm doing, guys. So after the sewing, I'm going to show you. Be patient. So I'm pushing here the corners out. So get the closed end, then push it with on your finger or with your finger or with a scissor, then push it through like this is a little bit easier and quicker. Then after, use maybe a turner that you have. Me, I'm using a scissor here and finishing all the ends. Let me show you lastly. Get the closed end, push it a little bit inside like this, get a turner or a zipper, anything you have, then push, like flip to the right side, simply like this. And after that, guys, I went to the ironing table and ironed flat all these pieces of the fringes and also half an inch of the skirt, so that it is prepared easily for sewing. So I've pinned a few pieces of the fringes as you see here, and I'm separating each. I'm going to be separating by 1 inch. At this point, I was trying to pin and see whether the fringes will be enough, and I had pinned by half an inch, separating each fringe by half an inch, but I realized they might not be enough, so I changed to 1 inch. After every fringe, I was leaving 1 inch, then pin another fringe, then pin to another fringe, all the way throughout the front and the back. And after top stitching, this is the finished part of the skirt, guys. If you have any questions, please comment below. I might not have explained so well, but I think I've done the greatest job. So comment below if you have any questions. But I just top stitched each fringe onto the hemline of the skirt, and this is how it looks like. This is the back, there's the zipper, you cannot even see it. The skirt came out so beautifully. I love the outcome. I separated each fringe, as I said, by 1 inch, and the closed end was onto the skirt, then the open end was onto the skirt, the closed end of the fringes was down. So this is what we have. Go on and make yours too.